Hello, welcome. Today we're doing a video on every single Fortnite Chapter 1 location, ranked from S and then A through F. Should be pretty good. If you guys don't mind, please do drop a like on the video, it would be massively appreciated. And if you're new, consider dropping a sub. Maybe watch some more of the video and then see if you want it. You can easily unsubscribe after, it's completely free. So we're going to get straight away into it, and one condition I'm going to set for this is, guys, this is not my complete opinion out of all of history. This is merely just off the Chapter 1 map, okay? So it's in comparison to Chapter 1. This doesn't include other seasons because if it was, everything would be in the top half. There is not really much other than like Gotham City, as you guys will find out, that I find that mid. But either way, we're going to get started. We're going to get straight into it with number 1 being the block going into the block category. Wherever it is, it's down here. It's kind of obvious it was going to go there anyway. It's just, it changed too much. I mean, in concept, it's fun, but it changed too much and it was very inconsistent. So you can't really call it an in particular thing. And then we're going to go on to the next one, which is, it's an unnamed spot, but it was by the big tree and near Greasy Grove. And that's actually going to go into, I believe, C category. I'm going to put that in C category. A lot of fun memories there. Pretty good for loot. Good spot for your duos if you didn't want to go somewhere mental. I can't. There might be a name for it. There was a big chair there at one point, but if you guys remember that, that's from the Chapter 1 map. Then next we're gonna go on to Neo Tilted. Neo Tilted was a D tier kind of location. Nothing thrilling about it. I can't lie. It ain't that good. People love it. It's just a worse version of Tilted for me. It was too bright. I mean, in concept, it's cool because, like, you know, the wind tunnels. Do you know, actually, because of the wind tunnels moving up to sea, the mobility was a lot better. The village, the desert village, it's got many, many different names. It's going to go into C category, actually. No, do you know what? We'll put it in B. It was pretty good. It was out there. Really nice amount of chests. It got contested, though, like, later on in the chapter. And then it became, like, really, really busy. And then it kind of lost its, like, gem, so to say. So, it's going to go in B. It's standard B. And this is another unnamed location, but this was above Flush Factory. And to be honest, I actually hold a surprising amount of memories here. But I'm going to put it in C. It's good. It didn't really have enough there to be like up there. You guys will come to see this. It's mainly POIs that are up here because you can't really put them one-off locations down here because there was never enough loot. But we're going to go on to Dusty Depot. Dusty Depot is an A tier. Dusty Depot is A tier. When it was all complete, and especially like season 3 kind of times, right in the middle of the map, loads of people would go here, a decent amount of loot, pretty fun. You'd always bump into it throughout your game. And then in similar kind of fashion as well, Dusty Divot, when it got meteored, it's going to go at A as well. Same kind of reason. Actually, this one was a lot better, so if we're going to do it in order of the categories, we're going to do it like that. Dusty Divot was an upgrade on Dusty Depot, but they're both actually fantastic. So next one is Villain's Lair, which was below Haunted Hills on the map, on like a side of a mountain. It's where the rocket event started from, actually. So if you guys remember that, it was there. But it's going to go in D. You couldn't really get up to it. It was a bit of a struggle to get up there. And once you'd actually got there, it wasn't that good. It was too busy compared to the amount of actual loot you got out of it. That's just like the most simple way of putting it. Then next we're going to go on to what I think is Frenzy Farm, because I've looked through this list and it could be Frenzy Farm, it could be Anarchy Acres, but I think Anarchy Acres there, so we're going to pretend this is Frenzy Farm. If it's not, my apologies, but Frenzy Farm A tier. Frenzy, you know what, actually, Frenzy Farm S tier. We're gonna drop Frenzy Farm in the S tier category. It is elite. It stayed for so long in Chapter 1, and it was so well done. It was a survivor out of that and Anarchy Acres. It was just better. It was just elite. Need to do an edit on on Fatal Fields, actually, because of how much memories I've got actually going there and so often, and I don't know why as well, because it's a very basic POI at its core. There's nothing too special about it, but for me personally, it's fantastic. Then next we're going to go on to Flush Factory, C tier. Pretty cool. It was a cool concept. It was nice. It's just a toilet factory though. Really, nothing sticks out about it looking back on it now, and a lot of this is based off like the nostalgia towards the location, like how much nostalgia I have about a particular location. And for me, Flush Factory just doesn't do it. Might be because they've reintroduced it into the map since, but it's just there. Okay, next one, containers. A tier. Containers goes into A tier. It's fantastic. Felt like the COD map shipment, I think it's called. It's been ages since I played Modern Warfare though, and it's pretty vibey. I enjoyed it enough test for the amount it was. It was right next to Tomato Town, near Wailing Woods. So if you wanted to do skybase and you drop there for your weapons and go farm at Wailing Woods and then build up, it was actually pretty unique for that, and it was really useful. Next, we're gonna do the Loot Lake house before it exploded, and actually it's gonna go into F tier. I didn't like it. It felt too inconsistent. It never felt like it was actually in one spot for long enough. Like, maybe if they did it where it went to different POIs, but it was like drifting through the entire game, which I guess makes it slightly cooler, but it just wasn't it. It just wasn't it, especially when it was sat right in Loot Lake. That was just annoying to play with and deal with. But other than that, we're going to move next onto the, I think you'd call these like exotic hot pools. I don't really know what to call them. They didn't really have a name. They're C tier. Not enough loot. Really cool concept though. Not enough loot. I liked it as a biome, but just not enough loot. Next B tier is Anarchy Acres. It's good. Wasn't in the game long enough for a lot of people to remember it, but it was pretty vibey. To be fair, a lot of people enjoy it, and a lot of people have good memories there. And I mean, so be it. Some people might be offended with that choice. Western Tilted is up next, and it's going into F tier, purely based on the fact you could not build there, and mechs were in the game at the same time. It might be higher if those two statements weren't true, like simultaneously, but you could not build and mechs were in the game. Who thought of that at Epic? I have no idea. This was probably one of the worst POIs, just purely based on timing. It was horrendous. And that and Greasy Grove, they did a double kill in that season in terms of just ruining POIs. Because Greasy Grove had Taco Time. But we're not counting that. I'm not counting Taco Greasy Grove in this list. I'm going to go based on normal Greasy Grove, so it's not too unfair on Greasy Grove. But if we're going to go on Western Tilted, it's terrible. And I've got to be honest with you, I think that about most of the Tilted variations. They've not done it as well as the original. Neo Tilted is the better out of all of them, but they need to stop trying to make a big difference about it. So, as well, by the way, guys, this is the time where I'm going to say it. The secret code, or the secret word for this stream is going to, this video, sorry, I should say, is going to be, let's think of a good one, keyboard. If you're up to this part in the video and you're still watching, go down to the comments and type keyboard in the chat. Or the YouTube comment section, and then we'll know you've watched for quite a while at least. Next up, we've got the Frozen Lake. Frozen Lake is going to be in, I see, I've got it on my phone where I put it originally, but I'm not sure if I'm going to reconsider this, because at the moment I've got it in D tier, but I think it fits there. It's too open, not enough chests. It's Frozen Greasy Grove essentially, isn't it? That's what it is. Not enough chests, too open. Back in the day, if you guys couldn't build properly, there was no point going there. You were going to get finished if you went there. Shouldn't bother. Moving on swiftly from that, though, we have got the actual Greasy Grove. This might upset some people, but it's C tier. I didn't like it. I've always thought Pleasant was better. Greasy Grove was never, top tier. I wasn't devastated when they removed it. And Pleasant's better, I guess. That's all I've got to say on that one. Up next is a bit of a weird one for people to remember. It's Happy Hamlet. Happy Hamlet, it was pretty good. I remember it a lot because of the World Cup. It was out when the World Cup was on. And quite a few cool memories there, especially with the snowboard track nearby. So it's going in C tier. It was pretty good. Quite a lot of loot as well for the amount of people that used to drop there. Next up is Haunted Hills. And Haunted Hills, it's very obvious where it's going to be. It's going to be A tier. It's elite. It's so good. It's not just perfect, but it's it's as close as you could get without it being perfect. So fantastic. Used to love dropping there, vibing out. And not that many people actually went there, so you could have a decent game if you dropped there without bumping into too many people. And up next, though, is probably my favorite, most nostalgic, enjoyable drop of Fortnite history, and it's going to be Closed Stadium. The stadium west of Tilted. Call it whatever you want. So many different names to it. Stadium next to Hill. I've heard some people call it, but whatever you call it, it is the greatest of all time, arguably. There is something about that. It was so small, not a lot of people went. I might be blinded by nostalgia right now, but I'm going to say it, and I'm going to say it with conviction. Stadium is the best thing they've done in Fortnite. and that is just it. It was so fun. It had like a little utility about it, especially when the game was so early, of just playing football with your mates in there or soccer. But it was just fun. I love it. And there's nothing anyone could ever say about that location to convince me otherwise. I've literally just done an edit about it on the TikTok. If you guys wouldn't mind, go check that. It'd be massively appreciated. Next up, we have got Junk Junction, though. Junk Junction's a bit of a weird one. Very far up in the left, you would never get a decent storm on it, but still very enjoyable. Pretty unique in terms of what they've added since. We're going to put it in A. I just enjoyed it a lot. It is pretty fantastic. Not much to say about it, really. It's one of them ones. It's really good. I've got a lot of memories of it, quite close up to Haunted, but it's just Junk Junction, isn't it? That's all you can say based on that one. And then up next, we have got Lazy Links. That's Lazy Links, isn't it, there? I was just trying to have a little focus on it and see. But Lazy Links came in Season 5, which was a kind of like the summer update for Fortnite. I remember it was quite a summery update, and it was pretty good, you know. It was really, really enjoyable, to be fair. So for that reason, we're going to put it in B. Except the drum guns. I'm not associating the drum guns with Lazy Links, but just that season, horrendous. It was such a spammy season. It was very, very painful to even play that game during that season. But it's there, and it was very, very fun. Now, we are going to go on to Lazy Lagoon. A tier. Fantastic location, fantastic drop. Every single time. Super enjoyable. The pirate theme in that season was fantastic, and it was also in the brand new biome of like the jungle or like the rainforest kind of area. Really, really, really good. Then we got Heroes Mansion. Heroes Mansion, super forgettable. Most people probably won't even remember where it was, but it was by Gus Racetrack. I think it was either below or above it, to be honest. I can't remember too much. I just know it was far east side of the map. That's it. That's all I've got for that. And then up next is Lazy Lake. Lazy Lake's pretty solid, and it is actually going to go into B tier. We're going to put it in B tier. It's really just good. All around good. I really enjoyed it, like, trying to get to the middle. Like, I remember back in the day, everyone used to, like, create up new building techniques to get into the middle pretty quickly, but most of the time you'd go from the house here. If you guys can look at the cursor, if you go from the house here, and then you'd end up there, because if you were going to any other side, it would take far too long. You could never actually get out in time. Lucky landing, easy. Lucky landing, S tier, fantastic place, awesome. So many memories. The pig, I think it was the pig that was just up there, built near there. Fantastic, absolute vibes. Motel up next. Well, Motel's a bit more difficult, but I think it is still a pretty easy choice, and we're gonna put Motel in. Oh, we're gonna put Motel in B. It's B standard. It's absolutely great. It's just awesome. It's pretty awesome. I've played a couple like gun game maps on it since in creative. Really, really nostalgic. Pretty cool. Nice small drop, but maybe not enough chests. Up next, we've got Mega Mall, which is like the edited version of Retail Row. And for that reason, it's going in C. It's just never going to be as good as Retail Row. There's not much else to say there, is there? Up next, we've got Meteor. So the actual Meteor itself is pretty cool, but there's just nothing on it, so you can't put it that high. So not much to say either there. It's going to go in F tier. And then up next, we've got Moisty Maya, which can probably go in. I think we're going to put it in C. It's C standard. It's Moisty Maya. Too far down in the bottom right, so the mats as well, the loot. I mean, so many people have such good vibes there, but you can't put it that high. It's just not to that standard. Up next, we've got Classic Dust Track. So the classic racetrack, and that's B. Really, really cool. Fitted in with the game back then in the style of it and everything. So it was just really nice, and it's enjoyable to look back on it for sure. We're going to go next to Paradise Palms, which is F tier. Controversial. I didn't like Paradise. I didn't like Paradise at all. It just never felt right to me. I just don't like it. That's all I've got to say there. Pleasant Park. The greatest full POI. Probably one of the greatest named locations. It stuck through Fortnite for a couple years. It was there for a long time. Very, very classic. Very, very vibed. A lot of nostalgia on that one. Up next, we're going to put on Polar Peak. Polar Peak's going to go in D tier. The Infinity Sword was there, but not much chests. Too high up. You couldn't really do much from spawning from there or dropping there. That's what we got to say on that one. Pressure Plant. Pressure Plant is D tier again. Not really that good. The volcano was a lot better, so I don't know why they actually changed it to that plaster plant location. You could get a decent amount of metal there. I guess that's it though. That's what it's got going for it. Unless we're gonna put prison on, and prison's gonna go into B tier. Very, very good location. A lot of nostalgia for it. Really, really nice, especially for that. I think season 4, when the storyline shifted towards the prison, was really, really fun. Got a lot of nostalgia for it then. Up next, we've got Gus in the desert, and that is going to go into B tier. Really, really nice, but it's classic Gus is better, but they're in the same category. Retail Row Classic, A tier, fantastic location. You could get a lot from there, and really, really enjoyable to drop there. It's a good place for a squad because you could split the houses or split the blacktops, which is what you used to call the shops, because they all had black roofs. So black roofs or black tops, that's where you'd go. You'd be able to split them. Up next is Risky Reels, which was up in the north east side of the map, near Wailing Woods when it first came out. And I remember that challenge. When that challenge came out, it was mental, but not a lot going for Risky Reels. It's C tier. It's bang on in the middle. A lot of people love it, some people hate it. I just think it's alright. The Spire the Spire Mountain near Salty Springs is F tier. There was like 3 chests on it. You couldn't drop there with more than yourself, so you can't really put it much higher than that. Up next, we've got Salty Springs, which is a very, very classic location. It's going to go into A tier. I enjoy it a lot. It's absolute vibes, and it was nice having it in Chapter 2. I want it to come back. I want Salty Springs to come back. Definitely the stadium. Everything in S tier really would be fantastic to come back. Up next, it's Shifty Shafts. Its name just left my head then for a second. I mean, it was only in the game in the last chapter, so I shouldn't have really forgot about that there. If there's one thing I shouldn't have forgot about, I shouldn't have forgot about Shifty Shafts, but it is going to go into B tier. It's bang average. Well, it's slightly above average, especially back in the day. It was a really nice spot when not too many people went there. But other than that, it's alright. Next, this one's going to be a bit more controversial about what I've said in loot in the past, but the skeleton head is going to go in C tier just because of how cool it looked. Terrible for loot. You shouldn't have dropped there for loot, but just in terms of looks, fantastic. It made up for it a lot. Snobby Shore, B tier, great spot for loot. Lots of houses, but too far out on the map. If you guys remember dropping Snobby Shores, you would never get any storm circles in your favor. It was always horrendous. Dropping there and then trying to get a storm circle, you were just dreaming for the wrong things there. It would never happen. And then it goes next. We've got the houses that were just north of Pleasant. So if you guys remember these, it was they brought them back in Season X, and I think that's the main time I remember them, because before that they'd been a wreck for a while. But I'm gonna put them. I think I'm gonna put them in B tier. Definitely a nice amount of loot. Maybe 2 contested sometimes when they came back, but definitely in the original game they were fairly decent. You can get around. Up next is Sunny Steps. Sunny Steps is a fairly easy one. Sunny Steps is gonna go into C tier. Oh, there we go. Sunny Steps is going to C tier. Not much to it, but it was enjoyable. It came out in the Volcano season of Season 8, I believe, and there was a lot more in that season to look forward to than Sunny Steps. That's all I'm going to say. Well, next we got Gotham City. Don't need to say more. It was a forced collaboration. It wasn't that cool. The glider redeploy was slightly nice, but I just don't think it suited, and it took away Tilted in that last kind of section when we probably should have had it a bit more than that to increase nostalgia with it and stuff. But other than that, we're going to go with Tilted, and it's going straight into A tier. Fantastic spot. Too many people though. I mean, if that's what you wanted, that's where you went. If you wanted to fight people straight off spawn, you went Tilted. If you wanted a high kill game, you went Tilted. But I don't know. I especially when I started playing, I used to play a lot of solos rather than duos and squads back in Chapter 1, and it put me off going to Tilted because I would get destroyed every single time. I was never too good at the game. After this, we've got it's like Tomato Town, but it was like the jungle version of Tomato Town. And I mean, it wasn't as good as Tomato Town, but it's going in C tier still. It was still pretty decent, just not Tomato Town itself, and Tomato Town was definitely a lot better. We are getting towards the end, boys, and we've got Tomato Town, Viking Village, Volcano, and Wailing Wood. So we're getting close to the end now. And we're going to go with Tomato Town. And for me personally, Tomato Town is going to go into... I think I'm going to put it into C. No, B. B. It was good enough for B. Definitely. And then Viking Village. Viking Village is B again. Pretty nice. Too high up though. Not a decent loot. Yeah, maybe we're going to drop it into C actually. And then finally after that we've got Volcano. B tier. Really, really cool in concept when it first came out. And then finally, the last one is Wailing Woods, which we're going to put again into B tier. Really, really nice location. Lots of mats, but just very far out on the map. And, well, that's it, guys. What do you think about this? Do you like it? Do you agree with it? What's everyone's opinions on this? I mean, I think it's pretty accurate. This is probably what I'd go with. But other than that, tell me what you guys think in the comments. If you haven't already, please do drop a like. And sub if you're new, because you made it this far in a video. So hopefully I'm decent. Other than this, guys, I'll see you around on a live stream. Make sure to tell me you've watched the video in the comments and just say hi. And I'll type back. If you type the word keyboard in chat, you'll also... I'll thumbs it up or pin it or whatever you do on YouTube. I'm still not too sure about it. Other than that, guys, see you in a bit. Thank you so much for watching the video. Goodbye.